Hey, you ever looked into a mirror and it looked back differently? Like its smile was just a little bit too wide, or its eyes were a little bit too soulless? You know what I'm talking about. Yeah, well, tonight, you'll meet Sofia, and what she sees will haunt her forever. Our story begins with Sofia. She loved antiques, specifically those from Victorian times. There was something so comforting to her about their age, their presence. She felt like they understood more, that they were holding on to a past that she wished she could have been a part of. So one Saturday, she went to an antique store. As soon as she entered, she knew this place was different. Unlike other stores that gleamed and glistened, this one was dim and dusty. Cobwebs hung from the corners. Most of the items looked untouched, covered in white sheets, but what drew her in was a single mirror propped up in the corner. Its ornate gold frame was chipped and worn. The glass was cloudy and unclear. There was something mysterious about it, and despite how dirty it looked, she could feel its eyes on her, like it was watching her as she watched it. When she asked the owner about it, all he said was, "Found it in a house, didn't know anything about it." He shrugged, looked away. "It's yours if you want it. Been sitting here for weeks." So Sofia bought it. She wrapped it carefully, took it home. She lived in a small apartment, the kind with creaky floors and flickering lights. Nothing special, but it was hers, filled with things she loved. The mirror was going in her bedroom, and as soon as it was up, she noticed things were different. The air was heavy, like a weight settled over her room. The light seemed to dim even further, and the whole time she could feel something watching her. At first, she dismissed it. It was probably just the adjustment to a new room, new furniture. But later that night, when she woke up to use the bathroom, she caught her reflection in the mirror. It was smiling. She froze. Had she moved? Was the light hitting her face differently? She blinked, looked away. Then, when she dared to look back, it was still smiling. She shrugged it off, figured it was a trick of the light, but it kept happening. The thing with her reflection was, it always seemed a beat behind, like it was reacting, instead of just copying her movements. But at first, she didn't think much of it. Reflections are weird like that. Then that night, when she tried to sleep, the whispers started. At first, they were faint, like wind outside her window. Then they grew louder, clearer, morphing into words. They circled around her, slithered under her skin. "Sofia, Sofia, Sofia," they hissed. It was her name, and though she never turned to look, she knew it was her reflection calling her. The second night, it happened again. The whispers, the feeling of unseen eyes boring into her. But then something new occurred. Her reflection raised its hand. It was pale, almost translucent, like a skeleton. Then slowly, it began to push forward, pressing against the glass, trying to reach her. She watched frozen as the hand made its way across the mirror. It slid down, disappearing, then reappeared on the other side. It pushed again, this time more insistent. Her reflection stared at her, waiting. A strangled cry escaped her lips, but it was muffled, trapped inside her throat. Her apartment was cold, but she broke out in sweat. Her heart pounded against her ribs, threatening to burst out. The third night was the worst. The whispers never stopped. The eyes never blinked. The hand came out again, moving with purpose. This time it stayed out, stretching toward her like a long, pale finger. She wanted to scream, to move, to do something, but she couldn't. Her body was frozen, trapped by fear. Then the hand moved again, touching her, cold as ice, seeping into her skin, stealing her warmth, her breath. Finally, she recoiled, a sob catching in her throat. That's when the hand retreated back into the glass. disappearing, leaving her alone in the darkness with the whispers and the eyes. Daylight brought with it a sense of safety. The whispers were gone, replaced by the cheerful chirping of birds. The hand wasn't there either. She told herself it was all a dream, a fever dream brought on by a feverish imagination. But as she picked up her phone, its black screen reflected her face back at her. And she saw it again, her reflection, grinning at her, whispering silently. Daylight offered no safety. She was already trapped. She needed to destroy the mirror, but where to start? It wasn't like she could smash it without damaging the frame. That would lower its value, and she'd hate to ruin such a unique piece. She thought about calling the store, maybe returning it, letting them deal with it. But what if they didn't believe her? What if they thought she was crazy? Then she had an idea. She'd cover it up, hide it, pretend it wasn't there. She found a large sheet, draped it over the mirror, pinning it in place. But every time she turned away, she could feel its eyes on her, like it was watching her, judging her decision. Days turned into weeks. She avoided her room, staying away from the mirror, listening to the whispers whenever she passed by. One day, she found a small crack in the sheet. It was enough for her to peer through, and when she did, she saw it, a sinister grin spreading across her reflection's face. She ripped the sheet off, revealing the mirror in all its glory. She couldn't keep running, hiding. She had to do something, and the longer she waited, the worse it might get. She grabbed a hammer from the kitchen, took it to her room, stood before the mirror. She raised it high, ready to shatter the glass, break the curse. But just as the hammer connected, the glass split, not from top to bottom, but horizontally. From the corner of her eye, she saw her reflection strike first. Cracks formed a spiderweb around the point of contact, spreading, growing. The glass above the break line shifted, tilting. Black liquid oozed out, hissing as it hit the floor. She stumbled back, dropping the hammer. The mirror had blood. It fell to the side, crashing onto the floor, shattering. The black liquid spread, consuming the carpet, seeping through the cracks in the wood. She stared, mesmerized, as it inched closer. Then it struck out, tendrils coiling around her feet, pulling her down. The mirror had come alive. Exhausted, she collapsed on the floor, tears streaming down her face. Her reflection stood on the broken shards, grinning. It beckoned to her eyes, hollow and unblinking. "Let me out," it whispered, its voice raspy, like nails on a chalkboard. The glass rippled. Both hands reached through. She screamed, but it was too late. The hands pulled her in, trapping her forever in the mirror's embrace. When the sun rose, her bed was empty. The mirror was gone, vanished, leaving no trace of its existence except for the lingering scent of dust and decay. And the mirror, it waits, waiting for the next curious soul, the next person who dares to look into its depths. So next time you see a reflection, make sure it's only you looking back, because some smiles are unfriendly and some reflections are unreal.